Are you kidding me? The song wasn't on this whole time. Oh my god. Okay, so listen, here's the thing. I came into this with technical difficulties. I switched on my computer and it was not working properly. None of my like programs or applications were showing up in the little like strip bar thing at the bottom of the screen. So I restarted it, and then OBS was like, "Hey, I can't connect to this Twitch account," and I was like, "Okay, why don't I just restart again? That's fine." And then I restarted again, and I was like, "Okay, everything's fine," and I did not notice that the Starting Soon song wasn't on. So I'm just gonna fade that back in, I guess, for next time, and just curl up and cry, because things are already going so wrong today. Anyways, hi everybody, it's lovely to see you. Welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. What a wonderful day. Anyways, hello Petey, welcome in. Petey in the house to say good tidings. Good tidings to you as well, Petey. I hope you are doing wonderfully, wonderfully well. Turnip, thank you very much for the lurk. Perrin, thank you very much for the lurk as well. Thank you, thank you. Welcome in, friends. And hello to Owlquill and Dan. Hello. Dan says, Sammy, hello. I just watched a Star Trek. Well, isn't that just the loveliest thing I ever did here? Did you, which flavor? What one? Did you enjoy it? I hope so. I hope that you did. I apologize that my palette is messy. I can probably clean up some of this gubbins right away. But I'm going to leave this blobbit here because this right here is money and discontinued pigment, so I don't want to get rid of it. That's gold right there. Literally, that's quinacridone gold. Which is discontinued. This is actually new quinacridone gold, but one of the pigments that is used to make this version of new quinacridone gold has now also been discontinued. So while I wasn't able to get my hands on the OG formulation, I do have my hands on the new formulation that is also on its way out. I am, despite my chipper demeanor, I am very sad about that. That's so sad. Anyways, but, you know, on a positive note, I finally busted out this bad boy and was like, screw it. I'm just gonna paint something with this. Because, you know, I do that thing. I do that thing that artists do from time to time. Where I was like, I can't paint with this. It's this art supply, this product, this pigment, this paper, whatever it is too good. It's too high quality. It's too special. It's too rare to defile with my artwork. And that's a bad attitude to have, because what is the value of a tube of quinacridone gold that is not used to paint anything? This is a nothing burger of an object. This isn't fun to look at. A painting is fun to look at, or, you know, makes you think about something, or has an aesthetic appeal to you. This is a tool. It's made to be used. So I'm trying to get over that. So I tried to break my art block with a painting using some materials I've been saving for a while. And friends, I hated it. I spent the entire time unsatisfied with the results, and I ended up with a piece that I don't think is particularly good. And that is so deeply frustrating. Part of it is the materials, and part of it is a skill issue probably. But PD says, Sammy, your art reminds me of the art in Roald Dahl. That's really nice. Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you. That is whimsical stuff. That is the stuff of classic British children's book gubbins. That's very, thank you. That's really good. That's really kind. Jeez. Heck. Stop it. Anyway. Lucio's GF says, hello, welcome in. Sorry, I'm also coughing to death, so I'll try and get that over with as quickly as I can, so y'all can get out of here and pay your respects and what have you. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. Pardon the bits in it. This is the very bottom of a bag of chamomile tea, so all of like the little flowery bits that are too small to stay in the strainer have fallen into my tea. But it's fine. This is you know, that's all deliciousness. It's added texture. My favorite. There's fiber in it now. It's okay. Anyways. But thank you. The way you color / paint is very pleasing. Thank you. It's very kind. It's very kind of you to say thank you. So yeah, today we are also, how is everyone? I hope you're well. I hope you've had a good week so far. I'm sorry I wasn't here on Monday. It was a bank holiday and we did some things amongst ourselves, mostly resting because we are both extremely exhausted. So I think I spent a good portion of the days of the Easter weekend in bed. That being said, I did get some things done this week that I am proud about. Bank holiday, the Bank of Sammy was shut, says Dan. Yes, exactly. No deposits to be made on this day. I am closed, which means that I missed out on the 12p in ad revenue I would have made if I streamed. I don't care about the ad revenue I make when I stream. It is literally nothing. The real value of streaming to me is getting to hang out with you wonderful people, and holding myself publicly accountable for actually making artwork, because sometimes I go for long periods off stream without getting very much done, and that always feels a little bit bad. So, wait, is it 12p or literally nothing? I mean, is there that much of a difference these days, Dan? Everything is very expensive. Anyways, don't you split hairs with me. Listen, I haven't cut my hair in 4 years. I've got enough split ends as it is. Anyways, hello, Leaky. Welcome in, and good afternoon to you too. Hello. It's lovely to see you and welcome. This is quinacridone gold. So I will, because I am in favor of, as an artist, just being... There was an interview clip that went around my Instagram feeds in the last few weeks of, I can't remember who it was, but a fellow from many decades ago talking about let artists be bad, let artists make bad art. And even back then, the sort of the publicness of everything that an artist does was to the point that it was you can't do anything that's bad without facing public scrutiny for it. And that's just, ugh. Anyways, so, I had this paint, which I've been saving for a special occasion. I was saving it for a special painting because it's such a beautiful color and yada, yada, yada. And I wanted to do something really good with it, right? Okay, right? And then I also had these paints that I bought a little while back, this gold and this black gold. And I was especially really kind of intrigued about this because it's a black paint, but it's got gold shimmery gubbins embedded in it. So it's, I was like, oh, this is going to look really cool, right? Mostly lurking as I'm still at work, but saw you were live. Hello, Leaky. It's lovely to see you. And thank you for the work lurk. I do appreciate it. And obviously the gold paint is gold paint. No complaints there, right? So I was hoping for a really nice sort of shimmery space, night sky effect. And it's also Autism Month. So I was like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use these to paint something Star Trek, obviously. And I was like, okay, it's Star Trek. It's Autism Month. I'm going to paint a Star Trek character that I relate to in some way, shape, or form. And so I decided to paint a little Odo, and I don't like it. I don't think it's very good. And I also don't like the effect that the gold paint gives, because I was expecting more, shimmer from it, and it's kind of just shiny. It kind of is just shiny. It's, the coverage, I would say, is pretty good, but it's mostly just shiny. And I don't know if I painted the black gold directly onto the white paper. I don't know if I should have I don't know if I should have done a black backdrop underneath it with black ink or something so that it would stand out more. I'm not sure. It's just something, looking at it on camera, I'm it's probably not that bad. I'm probably just being a little bit too, as I was working on it, there were things that I was just not quite. The reference photo that I had, I think, had weird lighting, and initially I made him too pale and I made his hair too dark, and I was like, okay, well, he doesn't look like himself now, so I need to work on that. So I ended up, darkening his skin tone down to the weird sort of, he's a sort of orangey tan Play-Doh color. And then his hair is kind of like dark blonde. It's not really that far off. In fact, this I think is still too contrasty. But like that's fine. There's just something about it that I just wasn't super happy with. So like I worked on it for ages and then I was like, nah, it's not my favorite thing that I've done, and that made me feel sad because obviously I love this little guy. I love him so much. Turner says, "Oh, he's so thoughtful, though." Yeah, my idea was, he's kind of just he's feeling contemplative, and I don't know if that comes across, but I tried. I think it's a perfect shimmer, says Lucia's GF. You did a great job. Thank you, Lucia. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I was hoping that would bust me out of my art block, and it kind of just sent me further into an art block, because I was like, oh no, I tried to do a thing and it wasn't good. Now I can even more not do anything, and I'm just stuck in this, like, idea, I'm stuck in this, like, pit where there are no ideas, and any ideas that I do get aren't the right idea for me to start working on, so I can't start working on anything. It's like, have you ever had the experience? Oh my god, Dan, I'm so sorry. Oh, okay, it's accountability time. It's taking accountability. I had a really hard time getting stream to start today. I had to restart my computer like 3 times, because every time I did, something was broken. So, come on, Viato2. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully I'm visible now. Sorry about that. Oh god. I really am the worst to ever do it. But Lucio says, not capturing one of your favorite characters how you want is heartbreaking. Most of the time it's fine. Most of the time I'm pretty good at, like, blurbo posting, but every once in a while it's just like, And the thing is, I could probably post it, and because it's not one of my favorites and I feel like it didn't turn out super well, I could probably post it and it would, like, be the best thing that anyone's ever seen me do. Which seems to be what happens. I don't know. Like, other artists chime in if you have this experience of, like, I spent 100 hours working on this painting. It is the realization of something that is really important to... This is hypothetical, by the way. I spent 100 hours working on this painting. It is the realization of a theme that is really important to my heart, and I put a lot of thought into the composition and the color theory and all this blah, blah, blah. As far as I'm concerned, this is one of the best things I've ever done. And you post it onto the internet, and it gets, like, 4 likes and disappears. And then you're like, okay, here is a 2-second drawing I did on, like, lined notebook paper whilst in a board meeting at my day job of a little fart with a little smiley face. Hope you like it, and that gets 10,000 likes. And people start asking you for a print of it. Because this has happened to me before. There is a sticker in my shop of a stupid little doodle that I did. That is, now, I like this doodle. I think it's cute, but it's a stupid little doodle that I did. You can see that it was drawn on lined notebook paper whilst I was in a meeting. And that was one of my best selling stickers of last year. No! Anyways, oh my god, was I missing out on a cute little character? I feel robbed. I'm sorry. Hypothetically speaking. But yeah, that is, I find that's, it almost like, it's almost like, I don't remember where that analogy was going. I'm just going to catch up with chat. Lucia says, people love my sketches / botched pieces, and then I post my magnum opus, and suddenly I'm apparently shadow banned. Yeah, 100%. That is so often that is the experience. I used to do photography more publicly. Now I just have, like, stacks and stacks of photo prints that I really need to scan and find some way of sharing with people. That I never do because scanning takes a really long time and it's a pain in the backside. I'm just lazy. And also I don't know if posting, like, film photography as well as painting on the same, like, social media accounts is diluting my brand too much. And I don't want to have to care about brands and things, so I'm, happy to focus on the one thing. Anyways, Mr. Tom! Hi, Mr. Tom! It's so good to see you! Welcome in! How are you doing? Mr. Trump says, oh, you mean that we've been doing bigger and bigger pixel art pieces, yet the only thing people care about is this, that it's a hoppy little frog. I mean, it's a wonderful frog, but yes, exactly that, yes. It's maddening, isn't it? It's maddening. And, I mean, to a certain extent, it makes one want to kind of lean into doing the low-effort little doodads that, you know, will get praise and attention, but also, like, man, you gotta go where the inspiration hits, and if the inspiration says do a magnum opus, you gotta do the magnum opus, you know? Like, I don't know, may all of our artworks get the attention and love that they deserve, and may we also get the attention that we as artists oftentimes crave, and the validation that comes from that, of being seen. I actually had, so, you know, I'm a small potato in the art world, as I'm sure you're aware. I don't know how many people are watching this stream, but I'm gonna guess it's like 10. I'm a small potato in the art world. And I recently had to post a piece on Blue Sky Escape Containment, and I think this really goes to show that, like, even if you post your magnum opus and it gets like 4 likes, that doesn't mean that it isn't incredible. Does not mean that it isn't incredible, because my God, the fickleness of social media and just the timing of, like, just getting one correct person. Getting one correct person to, like, share your art post can be the difference between it is just going to die versus, you know, it escapes containment and it gets a ton of love and attention. But that only applies to that one post. Nothing before, nothing after, in my recent experience, because I had a piece escape containment, and it was honestly a little intimidating, partially because Blue Sky is a weird place. There are a lot of accounts that I can't tell which ones are bots sometimes, but they're just people who nominally are on the similar side of the political spectrum to me, but, like, all they do, they're Americans, and all they do is post, like, memes about how the president is bad, and I'm like, yeah, I also really dislike your president, but also, I don't want to hang out with you. I'm not convinced you're a real person. I got suddenly, like, a huge influx of new followers who were almost entirely like this kind of person, and some replies on the post as well from similar people, and I'm like, wait, but you're replying to me, so are you a real person? I don't know, I can't tell. I don't want to engage with bots, but also I don't want to just assume that every person who replies to me is a bot. But these are people that I'm not used to interacting with, and I don't know. I was so uncomfortable. And I was really happy that people, and again, it was a stupid artwork. Hello, Lucia, welcome in. I mean, it's not a stupid artwork, but as far as, like, it wasn't, like, you know, a fully rendered, completed piece with, like, background and all kinds of that gubbins. It was just a little painting of a bird, against a white backdrop, and apparently that was just everyone's favorite thing, and I was like, why? Why this thing? I don't understand. Anyways, Dan says, imagine a world where nobody cared about the Sistine Chapel, but went mad for some little figures Michelangelo carved for his nephew. Exactly, yes, exactly, yes. Exactly, yes. I genuinely don't necessarily believe that, you know, like, attention or praise needs to be in proportion to the amount of skill or effort that went into a work. But it is a really weird feeling. You know what I mean? It's like the difference between, again, like, you know, like you say, the Michelangelo thing. I composed, you know, let's say, okay, hello. My name is Tommaso Albinoni, and I have composed this beautiful adagio in G minor for an organ and a bunch of stringed instruments. Please enjoy. And everyone's like, you know, like crickets chirp when it's done. And then I'm like, okay, and for my next piece, I'm just gonna go do-do-do-do-do. Thunderous applause for do-do-do-do-do. You know, like, it's like that. It's like that. It's like that. It's a weird phenomenon. And I do think that, like, a lot of us experience that. And I don't really, if there is any study into the psychology of why this often happens, I haven't seen it, but I'd be very interested to. And once again, I am not ever going to let this, and I don't think you should let this dictate what you decide to create. Dan says, oh, he wrote the do-do-do-do-do song? That's cool. There was, I can't remember what program it was. I think it was a radio show. But there was actually back in the 80s probably, there was a comedy sketch on CBC Radio in Canada where there was two fellows standing at like a bus stop. And one of them just goes, do 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 do, as you do. And the other guy goes, did you just say do 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 do? He's like, yeah. Oh, I wrote that, you know. And then they get into the weeds over the fact that this man apparently wrote do 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 do. I shall not attempt to repeat it because I shan't do it justice, but it was very funny. So thank you for tapping into that, Dan. Anyways. Was that the same group? I think that was the same group. That might have been the same group that did Mr. Canoehead, who was a long-running character of a superhero type figure who was out on a canoe trip one time, and as he was, you know, he was carrying his canoe over his head as you do, because that's the most efficient way to carry a canoe across land. He was struck by lightning, and the canoe fused with him, and he became Mr. Canoehead. I feel like this isn't hitting for y'all because that is very Canadian. Anyways, Lucio says, sorry for stalking. It's not stalking if you're looking at my bookmarks. They are there to be viewed and enjoyed. If you were outside my house right now, I'd have questions, but that is absolutely fine and, in fact, encouraged. Thank you. Your bookmarks make me want to actually read. That is, you know, okay, Lucio, I worked in a library for 12 years of my adult life. Do you know how happy that makes me? Reading is cool. And it's good for your mental health. So good job. Anyways. Oh, beans. Anyways. I'm sipping my tea. I'm almost finished this tea. It's called the Cat's Pajamas, and I think it was a limited edition, so I don't think they're making it anymore. But it was called the Cat's Pajamas. And it is nominally chamomile with cinnamon and I think lemon verbena. All I taste is chamomile. It may as well just be chamomile tea. And I have no complaints about that because I've been really enjoying the chamomile tea. Speaking of tea, oh, that's the thing. So, as you can probably tell from my accent, I come from Canada originally. I live in the United Kingdom. But I'm going back to visit family for a couple weeks next month. So apologies in advance for missing some streams that month. I'm really, really sorry. I don't dare attempt to stream from my parents' Wi-Fi internet. Just trust me on this. It is very slow. But I'm gonna miss playing Silk Song while I'm away. Because I don't think I want to bring my games controller with me, because that's a lot of extra things to lug around. Parents always have dog shit internet, says Mr. Tom. It's true. I guess, I don't know. They're not streaming on Twitch, so I suppose they don't really have to concern themselves with that. But, yeah. Woof. Anyways. So apologies for that, but one of the things that I want to do before I go is to put together, like, a shopping list of stuff that I want to get while I'm in Canada that I can't get from here in the UK. And I had just thought of something. We had just mentioned something, and I was like, yeah, that's a good one to get. And I've already forgotten what it was. Oh no. Me and my attention dungeons. Oh beans. Well, hopefully I remember it again before we get there. But yeah. Anyways, there's always like, so I have one, you know, like a reasonably sized suitcase that I bring with me when I go visit the fam, because I'm usually there for like 2 weeks, and so I need to bring, you know, 2 weeks worth of like outfits and moisturizer and what have you, because also the local water back home makes me it just dries me right out, my poor skin. So I need to moisturize real hard. But I always leave half of the the suitcase empty when I depart from London, so that I can bring back things like a big old box of Cheerios, because Cheerios are better in Canada than they are in the UK. And other such silly gubbins that I enjoy that we can't buy here, but, you know, is non-perishable enough that I can bring it home. Like, indeed, poutine sauce. Mr. Tom says, I had poutine for the first time last week. Oh, congratulations. Did you enjoy it? I hope you enjoyed it. It is a beloved food for me personally. I think it's delightful. And I do miss it here. It's harder to find, and it's not always... The quality varies depending on where you get it, if you can find it. I had it in Edinburgh, so I had haggis on top as well. Oh, delightful. Delightful. I do appreciate a good poutine variation. Also, I usually if I am in Canada, I will go for la poutine classique, which, if you don't know, it's chips or fries, whatever you prefer to call them, or frites if you are French, or French Canadian, with gravy and cheese curds, and it's very nice. And you can get it with many and various other toppings and variations as well, but it is a good. Anyways, I need to mute for just a second. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'll be back in a moment. Sorry about that. I've been a bit snuffy, and I did not want to blow my nose with the microphone on, because I thought that might be an unpleasant situation for y'all. Anyways, so yeah, I will be bringing back many silly little goodies. Though, annoyingly, since the last time I was in Canada, I discovered that the reason that I have a lot of ongoing, one of the many reasons that I have a lot of ongoing health issues, is that my body does not tolerate wheat. I don't know if it's gluten or if it's just wheat, but yeah, my body says no, it turns out. And I'm trying to recover from that, which means that a lot of the treats I used to enjoy, I can't no more. Like, I can't go get a thing of Timbits, and I'm very sad about this. So So I'm just gonna have to find other treats to enjoy, I guess. I'm pretty well practiced in planning my travel itineraries around places I'm going to go eat foods, so that should hopefully be okay. But yeah, in other news, we had planned to go on a little holiday later on in the summer this year. Specifically I wanted to visit Sweden because I've never been to Sweden, but the days that I looked up that we can travel, the flights that are the less expensive, if we want to pay a stupid amount of money and then have to pay extra to have a like carry-on bag, which I think is unreasonable and stupid. Basically, the way that this airline does it is that if you want to have a carry-on bag, you also have to have a checked bag, so you have to pay to have both of them. Otherwise, all you get is whatever fits under the seat in front of you, which I think is just stupid nonsense. Who's gonna do that? Anyways, so we're like, no, that's too expensive. We can fly with British Airways, which includes a carry-on item, but the only return flight that they had that wasn't like first thing in the morning was last thing at night. So it's like, okay, do I want to land in London at 10:30 p.m. and like have to take the scary night bus home when we get back to our city of residence? Or do I want just, like technically the last day of our trip to be a write-off because we have to get up at 4 a.m. to go to the airport? No, I hate that. So this is like the second year in a row that we've had to write off going to Sweden because of reasons, and I'm really annoyed. But we're looking at going to Germany instead, so we might end up going to Germany. And I'm jazzed about that because, like, if I get to go somewhere where there's a metro, and I get to find out whether or not the metro's fun and good, and if the metro stations are neat looking, I am a happy little camper. Hence, you can't tell now, but this is the London Overground. And Unner the Goblin is riding what used to be known, at least colloquially, and hopefully still is known colloquially. Why is that word so hard to say? Colloquially, as the Goblin, which travels between Gospel Oak and Barking, the Gospel Oak to Barking line, the Goblin. Anyways, I just thought it was a fun word pun, so the Goblin is riding on the Goblin. Anyways, Mr. Tom says, fries, love. Gravy, love. Cheese curds, I pretended they were halloumi, so love. Oh my goodness! I miss cheese curds. I'm looking forward to going to Zare's supermarket when I go home to see my family and go to the cheese section and buy a bag of cheese curds and just eat them. Because I love them. Alcohol says if you're going to Kelowna, I may be able to recommend a station or two. Ooh, exciting times. Mayhaps. We don't have any plans firmly in place yet, so I don't know what we're doing yet, but I am looking forward to it. I'm hoping I'll be able to find some gluten-free baked goods, because that's what I tend to plan my travel itineraries around now. Is like, will I be able to get a gluten-free pastry? Because I don't want to have to subsist off of nothing but gluten-free muesli bars, because it gets a bit grim after a while. Anyways. One of the benefits of going to Germany is that I do know a little bit of German. One of the detractors of going to Germany is that I know a little bit of German. And I haven't had to use it in any practical way for over 20 years. So, 9. Shice. Anyways, I am scared. Anyways. I mean, you know, whatever. Anyways, what was my point? Did I have one? I don't know. Anyways, yes, this is the London Overground, in case anyone is wondering. I live not in London. Am I close enough to London to say? No. If I say I live near London, it makes it sound like I'm in, like, the greater London area. That makes it sound like I live in, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some place that's near London but not in London, and now I can't think of. I'm like, oh, what counts as greater London area, though? I don't know because I don't live there. So I just don't know. Like, let's say Crawley. I think Crawley would count as, like, near London, right? I don't know. But, I'm trying to get a list of the station names on the Gospel Oak to Barking line so that I can, put the right number of dots in here and then just sort of scribble. You won't be able to read it because it's too small, but scribble in a little mappy illustration doodad. Yeah. Why are there so many stops? That's too many stops. Anyways, sorry, I'm looking at the little map. What? Wait, why is it filled in London Overground Train Sim World? Is the Gospel Oak to Barking line in Train Sim World? Maybe it is, I don't know. Anyways, hopefully this is correct and not a truncated version for Train Sim World, which I have never played. Because I don't really care about driving trains, to be honest. My interest in trains is more to do with, like, station design, and also, like, general sort of graphic design in the vicinity of public transit. Oh, and also seat maquette design. I like the weird patterns that they put on seats. I think those are fun. I think there's some kind of, like, design philosophy, but that goes into making the seat materials, like, always kind of a busy pattern. I think it's probably because it shows wear and tear less obviously than something that's, like, a more simple solid color, perhaps. Like, you can see the bits sort of, like, you know, like right there, sort of where sort of the edge of the seat where, like, the pattern is more likely to wear off. I feel like you'd see that more if it was just, like, a solid shade of blue or something than if it's, like, a busy pattern, or if someone spills coffee on it and, you know, like, nothing quite gets the stains out, even though I hope that they clean them fairly regularly. That's going to be less obvious on, like, a busy pattern. So I think that's probably behind some of the design philosophy behind these things. Is this boring? I don't know. Anyways. But that's where my brain's at the moment. The newest bus seats in Cologne are solid red plastic. I guess they're easy to clean. Yeah, that makes sense too. That makes sense too. Actually, thinking of it, when I was last in because like I said, all of the ones on like the London public transit all have their own like distinct patterns. So like the Overground has a specific like Overground maquette pattern, and it's that sort of like fuzzy, soft sort of like carpety material. You know, the Bakerloo line has a specific pattern, the Victoria line, yada yada yada. They've all got their sort of special patterns. My favorite one is actually I can probably bring this up because I love it so much because it's just, I think it's so stinking cute. But where the heck is another window has disappeared. Okay. I'll make a new one. Hopefully this will work. I don't want an AI overview. It doesn't matter. Yeah, the S-Stock maquette. This one is one of my favorites. I'll try and bring it up. But yeah, solid red plastic. They're easy to clean. Alquill says, here the stations have individual patterns, older ones anyways. Each one has an individual shape and color for the tiles on the walls. Ooh, that's super cool. I love all of these funky little design choices that get made. I think it's really neat. I think there was some, supposedly anyways, some thing to do with like a certain vintage of tube station platform where they would have like different tile patterns at different stations so that people who couldn't read would know which station to get off at. I don't know how true that is. But I do like when the sort of distinct features that set stations apart. I think that's nice. Though normally they do announce the stations over the tannoy as well, but I don't know, maybe they didn't used to have a tannoy. Anyways, this is my Instagram. Hi Instagram. This, for some reason, like 9,000 people on Blue Sky really liked this specific robin. So I mean, I'm happy for them because look, they're a jolly little birdie. But it was surprising to me, but it'd go off, I guess. Anyways, this is one of my favorite seat patterns. This is specifically on the S-Stock trains, which run on the District, Circle, Metropolitan, and Hammersmith and City lines of the London Underground, as represented by the District green, Circle yellow, the sort of burgundy colored, Metropolitan, and the pink Hammersmith and City, which to me look like Licorice All-Sorts. And when I tell you, Licorice All-Sorts, I think we had this discussion a couple weeks ago. I can't stand licorice. Like, if you like licorice, I'm very happy for you. I can't do it. But the thing about Licorice All-Sorts for me is that growing up, I wanted to like them I wanted them to be delicious so bad because they are so visually appealing. There's something about the like colorful, you know, sort of minimalist, colorful designs of all sorts that is just so appealing. I'm like, this should be delicious. You know, the ones with like the sort of, you know, like the sort of circles of you know, sort of two different colors alternating, or like the little sandwichy ones, you know, with like some blue and then there's black in the middle, or like green or yellow or whatever, and the colors are just so good, and then they taste bad. And then they taste really bad to me. The betrayal of being a child who learns that they dislike licorice because they see a bowl of all sorts at Aunt Beth's house and they're like, oh, these look incredible. Are these for guests to enjoy? Yes, they are. Okay, I'm gonna take this one that's little, you sort of yellow stripes with a black stripe in the middle. It looks like a little, you know, like stylized bumblebee. This is gonna be the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. And then you eat it and you're like, oh no, my whole mouth is crying, you think to yourself. And you hope that no one will notice if you discreetly spit it into a tissue. Ah! Aunt Beth was a good egg. She always remembered that my actual favorite sweet was jelly tots. And so she, bless her, would always make sure to give me a little bag of jelly tots, which I actually really did enjoy. And I also think are very aesthetically pleasing as far as sweets go. Ah, damn it. I'm going to have to buy myself jelly tots from the supermarket this weekend now. No, at least they come in tiny little bags. Anyways, also, hello bees, how are you doing? It's wonderful to see you. Welcome on in. How are you? But yeah. Alcohol says, I like licorice, but I don't like the stuff they pair it with in those little sandwich things. Understandable. Understandable. This is, and I've spoken of this before, I would love licorice if it wasn't sweet. Which sounds like a weird thing to say because sweetness is so much like the hallmark of licorice. I say that because I do actually really like the first couple milliseconds of salted licorice. That, I'm like, actually, this is hitting super nice, but the salt does not stay on your palate nearly as long as the sweetness. So you get a hit of like, pleasantness. I understand why this, no. Nope, I'm done, no. I just think, I don't know. Like, I like sweets. I like sweeties. I like sweet treats and the like, but it's just, it's too sweet. It's too sweet for me, unfortunately. Isn't that funny? I say this as someone who, at the peak of their probably doing very unhealthy things to themselves, was putting like 3 spoonfuls of sugar in my tea. And yeah. Have you tried salmiak licorice? Yes, it's too sweet when the salt goes away. What about crafting all sorts from air dry clay or something just to look at, says Bees? That is a brilliant idea. That is a brilliant idea. The forbidden snack. I remember once I was at a gaming expo and I was walking past a vendor who was selling a whole bunch of like handmade dice sets in various beautiful sort of like jewel like shimmering hues, and I said to my moderator / spouse, I was like, oh, the forbidden snack. And we just kept walking, but I just heard like peals of laughter coming from the vendor's table, and I was like, oh no, I've been perceived. Oh no. Sorry, I had to sippy. I do have, speaking of forbidden snacks, I did get, this was, I love these so much. This is a set of dice that my moderator / spouse bought me as a Christmas gift. Now, I haven't actually had a chance to play any tabletop dice related games in the intervening time. So I haven't really, I haven't put the dice into the dice bag yet. Which I really ought to do, because number one, they're teeny tiny, which is extremely appealing. They're goblin sized. How lovely. But also, they look delicious. They look like a little snack, you know? I just want to I just want to gum on these, but I know they're not flavored. I know they're just made out of, like, whatever dice are made out of, like resin or something. But man, they just look like they'd be a good texture. You know what I mean? Sigh. Anyways, so it goes. I'm going to put them back in here for a safety. Doop-a-doop. Oh, tiny, says Alquil. Hell yeah. BB dice, says Bees. Yeah, they're so teeny, says Turnip. I love them. They're so little. This is such a special gift, and I love them so much, and they make me really happy. Every once in a while, I just look at them, and I'm like, oh, hello. I'm normal. Okay, I need to count up how many stops there are here on the Gospel Oak to Barking Line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 if we include the extension to Barking Riverside, which opened a couple years ago, and I think I shall. So 14 stations. Oh god, I have to divide this up by 14 stations. Oh no. I'm not good at that. Well, okay, what's how many? I'm gonna bring up my measuring tape and see how long this is. This is 8.5 centimeters. That doesn't help me at all. Damn it. How do I divide this by 14? I don't think I can. Let me just punch that into my calculator. This is the stupidest stream ever. But I would rather be doing the stupidest stream ever and be present than be not streaming. So, hello. I'm just gonna... millimeters divided by 14 equals... Okay, so I need a distance of 6 millimeters between each station. I can do that. Okay, we can figure this out. It's totes fine, y'all. So that puts one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, which one is it? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hope I'm doing this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Hopefully that's the right number. 2 people have done the maths. So hopefully we are, between the 2 of us, correct. Let me just count it up. 8, 10, 14. Okay. That looks ever so slightly off. But I think I can fix it from here. I'm trying to look up a better, more official looking map of it, because none of these are very good. Okay, one that looks like it actually comes from the London Overground. That would do quite nicely. Okay, well that's the wrong map. Great. Okay, fantastic. Thanks. Thanks, London Overground. Okay. Here we are. I just need to. I wish I could see what like the maps that are just like a straight line and they do it like on the train look like. But I don't have that. Should I look that up? Anyways, I really enjoy public transit. Can you tell? I'm normal about it. But yeah. So I think I did say earlier that I'm doing this because it's a goblin riding the goblin and I'm normal like that. I just thought it would be cute. I thought it would be a cute and fun thing to do. And also it's it's Autism Month. And I thought it would be nice to indulge some of my specialist of interests this month, especially because I am sort of in the midst of art block, and I'm like, you know, of all of the things that I could do that's like an art blocky thing to get beyond it, I feel like this fits the bill reasonably well, is what I was trying to say. Okay. All right. I wish that this eraser still had like corners. I feel like this would work better if I had corners, but oh well. These circles are going to need to be relatively small because they are otherwise quite close to each other. But I'm going to try and make them roughly the same size, and I'm freehanding them, so that's going to be difficult and probably bad. But so it goes. In fact, I'm redoing that one so it's a little bit bigger. And then I'm just going to erase some of the lines so that there isn't a line in the middle of the circle, which there should not be. Well, they're not circles, but they're more or less a similar size, so I guess that's something, right? You're not going to be able to read the writing on most of these, but I am going to try and make Gospel Oak and Barking legible so that people understand. This is an artwork for 4 people. No, that's not fair. This is an artwork for like maybe 400 people. I don't know what the overlap is between people who are really invested in in liking London-based, city-based public transit, and people who really like fantasy gubbins. I feel like there's got to be a reasonable amount of overlap there. But I also don't know how many people are like London Overground enthusiasts specifically. I mean, I'm not a London Overground enthusiast specifically. I do like the London Overground, don't get me wrong. Yes. Anywho. Okay. If these are somewhat unevenly spaced, please forgive me. I'm freehanding it, and I am not the not the best at this kind of thing. But I'm trying very hard because I want to make something nice. But also I feel like the charm of it, surely, is the fact that it looks handmade. Otherwise, what's the point? It's like when I use a specific artistic medium, I do aim to create something that feels like it's made using that medium specifically. I don't want to use watercolors in a way that you can't tell whether or not it's a watercolor or a photo. Because it's like, well, I could just take a photo then. I have a camera. I could just do that, you know. If I'm doing something in watercolor, I want to use the innate characteristics of the medium to give it a specific aesthetic quality. Otherwise, why am I doing this, you know? So... I mean, the answer is always fun. Is there any other reason to do such things? If there is, I don't know her. Okay. Thar. We have the Goblin. So now I am not going to freehand using my handwriting. I'm not going to be able to adequately reproduce, I don't think, the Johnston typeface that they use on London transport systems. But if anyone has like a problem or a complaint about that, please don't actually me about it, because I don't care. My aim here is basically just legibility, honestly. Thus. Oh no, that's bad. That's super bad. I feel like there's not quite enough space above it, because the text would want to go on top of it, but I don't think there's quite enough space above this little circle to put Gospel Oak. So I will put Gospel Oak beneath it. And then over here, we have, of course, and the most important thing is that you can more or less see that it says Gospel Oak and Barking Riverside. The Gospel Oak to Barking line. Goblin. It was meant to be. Anyways, this little creature here, Unur, is a long-running D&D character of mine. I played them in a campaign that ran for a number of years. We've had a lot of fun together. They are a blacksmith by trade and a sorcerer by accident. And they have a familiar that is an Archaeopteryx named Rangi, and they're just a chill little guy. They're honestly just a pretty chill little guy who likes collecting cool rocks and doing magic spells, and their first port of call anywhere they visit is the gift shop, which is a normal thing to do. They are out adventuring in the world, basically, because they discover that they've got, like, magic sorcerer powers and are trying to figure out what the deal is with that. why do they have magic sorcerer powers? And also, what is the source of their sorcerer magic? And also, what can they do with it? And also, you know, just find, they're, you know, I think they're just kind of a mid adult trying to figure things out about themselves, and I love that for them. But yeah, anyways, an ad break is happening, so I have to stop talking for a few minutes. I'm sorry, or you're welcome. Please enjoy the BRB screen in the meantime, and I hope you have a good break, and I'll be back very, very shortly. Enjoy the BRB music and stuff, and I'll stop talking now. I'm sorry if you have to see ads. BRB. Hello friends, I'm back. Thank you for sticking around. Hello, hello, hello. I returneth to this. Something was bothering me about like Una's proportions. I feel like their bottom half is not quite in proportion with their top half, and I wasn't quite sure how to fix it. I think I could make their legs shorter. I feel like I could stand to make their legs a little bit shorter, so I'm sorry. But also, I think I want to bring their shoulders in a little bit. But I don't know if that I'm scared. I'm scared of making it worse. That is, I don't know. Does any other artist have this where it's like, okay, I feel like I need to make adjustments, but I'm really scared that I'm going to make it worse. And this is not digital, so I can't just like undo and then redo the same thing over again. If I F this up, then it's just, you know, I'm just truncating them at the knee right now, and I'm gonna see if I can rectify this leg situation a little bit. I feel like I could maybe give them a little bit, because the only reference that I have for sort of Una's like canon appearance is I did. And you know what? They're gonna, in the process, they're gonna get a slightly bigger butt as well. Just so there's a little bit more of a... of like a shortness feeling to the leggies. They're not a chunky individual. They're like... I wouldn't say they're super thin. But they're like medium-sized. They're not as chunky as I am, for instance. But the most important thing is that their feet don't touch the floor. I think in this situation, you need to be aware of the fact that their feet don't touch the floor. They actually like being this. So they come from like a very beach-like location. So they're actually quite a fan of being barefoot a lot of the time. But I feel like that wouldn't pass. I feel like that wouldn't fly on the Overground. And they are, if nothing else at all, a very polite individual. So here they are, and I think they're doing that thing when your feet don't touch the ground when you're sitting, where you just kind of like swing your legs. I think they're doing that a little bit, because I think that's cute. Does this look better? I feel like this looks slightly worse, but we're gonna fix it. By potentially making it even worse, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. That's what I'm gonna do. I think is kind of just. Also bring their shoulders in a little bit. And maybe I'll just need to redo like their whole arm situation. Uh-oh. 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 Okay, maybe we're redoing quite a lot. This is normally I try not to do this stage of things on stream. I try and have this done off stream, but then sometimes I notice things and I'm like, I feel like this could be slightly better. And this is one of those cases, so I'm going ahead and fixing it. Honestly, Okay, now their butt looks too big. Now their butt looks too big for their... Gee, I think I made it worse. No. I think I made it worse. Because now they look super weird. I feel like the arms... First of all. Also, sorry every time... I'm just apparently rattling the desk every time I erase. I think the elbows need to... Okay. And the arms need to really just come down. Down into the lap. Thusly. And then does that... No, their butt still looks weird. What have I done to their poor little bottom? It was fairly normal before. I think I'm just making it too... Because I would not allege that they have much particularly of a badonk. Okay, you know what? I think that's better. I think that's probably better. Okay. Alright, their hand looks a little bit weird, but other than that, I think in terms of the placements of things, I think we're doing okay. Thus. Yay! Yay! Okay, I think we got it. I think we're there. Shoot, I need to put their little tattoo back, because they have a little, just like me, they have a little arm tattoo. Because I'm cool like that, and I wanted us to match. Because I can, why not? Okay. All right. Now I can finish just filling in. Do I need to fill in all of the names of the things on the map now, or can they just kind of be like because you're not going to be able to read them anyways. They can probably just be little miniminas, which means I can look at bringing in some referencey gubbins for what colors I need. So I'm just going to pull up some references of London Overground train interiors on my phone again. Doop. Anyways. What's everybody been up to this week? I realize that I've been absent uncharacteristically this week because I was not here on Monday because of the bank holiday. I think I might not be here next Monday either. I will have to keep you posted on that because I'm not sure. It's we're having some internet installed. I think it's this coming week, or it might be the following week. I'll let you know as soon as I can. But our internet is changing. They are switching us over to like the fancier internet. Not because we're unhappy with the speed of our internet and the functionality of our internet is generally fine. However, it looks like they don't offer like internet, like broadband packages that aren't the super fancy internet anymore, and it's actually cheaper than the contract we were on. So, you know, for the same amount of like speed and stuff. So I'm like, okay, yeah, but it means someone has to come in to the house and like drill a hole in the wall to install the internet, and like that's fine. But that means that depending on what time, and again, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, they might be here at any point between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. So I don't know if I'll be... It might be that, like, okay, you know, they've installed the thing, everything's up and running, and the internet is working. Or it might be, oh, good, I have no internet, and there's a man in my house, you know? So I don't know how this works. I don't know how long it's going to take. I hate having people in my house doing work. It makes me so anxious because, like, especially if the internet is down for any period of time while the person is here, I'm not going to be able to do anything. in terms of like off-stream types of work, I guess I'll probably be in the studio sketching and painting my Blorbos from Star Trek. Because it's probably all I'll be able to do. So I don't know. Maybe I'll make a companion piece to this Odo that feels more of a good painting to me. I just don't know. Maybe I'll bust out some of my Daniel Smith duochromes and do something real sparkly. Maybe one time. So I have this like subscription thing. It's available on Ko-fi. It's also on my Patreon. Where you can. That's not what I meant to do. What the heck was that? Hold. There we go. ! Shop in the chat if you want to check out my shop. My chatbot's not working. Flaps. That's been like that the whole time. Again, I've had a weird start to stream. Sorry for the ping. The chatbot's loading in. Oh my god. I swear to gosh, I have to skip one stream and I just forget how to do it. Like, it's so sad. Anyways, but I have a subscription tier on my Patreon. It's also available in my shop on Ko-fi, where for a fixed amount of money per month, you get an A7 sized original painting from me. So it could be something like this little Odo. That's the kind of idea. It's a little guy. It's a single color piece. It's an original painting. I don't normally sell originals of my work, so it's kind of unless you commission something specifically, which is more expensive, that's kind of the only way to get an original piece from me generally. And I don't do it super often. There's a very small number of those available. But there was one that I did last year, I think. And I do try and do, like, it might be like little original creatures, and sometimes if I know you like a specific piece of media, I might do a character from that I know that you enjoy. But generally it's not like by request. You're not like, I would like to see Grizzblor from TV's The Pit. I haven't watched TV's The Pit. I'd be very surprised if I managed to pluck out a name of a character that was actually in it. That being said, Dr. Grizzblor is my favorite. Anyways. But I knew that the recipient of these artworks, in this case, and it is a subscription, but you can just like buy one and then jump back off. In fact, I encourage people to do that. I don't want people to give me that much money every month. It makes me feel guilty. Anyways, but you can. Just know I will feel bad taking your money, even though it is in exchange for goods and services that I am providing. I'm a bad capitalist. Anywho. But there was someone who I knew was an enjoyer of Star Trek The Next Generation, and I knew that they were an enjoyer specifically of Deanna Troy's mom, Loaxana. So I was like, well, I have to do it. And so I did a painting of her in one of her like extremely outlandish outfits, and then I painted it using, I think it was I don't think it was magenta, but I think it was a very vibrant, like purpley, it was like quinacridone violet, I think, which is or quinacridone purple, whichever quinacridone purpley violet-y color is really vibrant. I mean, quinacridones generally are all really vibrant, so that doesn't really narrow it down. It is a tube that I have somewhere here that is a purpley quinacridone. That really doesn't narrow it down very much. But anyway, so I painted Loaxana Troy in that color, and then I painted over the dress using my Violet Fantasy Duochrome paint. I like using shinies and shimmeries for these original pieces, because I know that they will be going to a person who will be seeing this painting in person and being like, ooh, look at it shine. Because that's always a bit of a logistical challenge, trying to get shimmery paints to show up as they are in person on the internet is really tricky and annoying, frankly. And it's part of the reason that I don't work with shinies as often as... No, that's... Dan... Thank you. I'm just, my brain is having a bad time today. please be nice to me. I am genuinely, I had a very busy, very difficult day yesterday, and so I am mentally struggling. There were supposed to be a couple of channel point redeems enabled that were not, so I have re-enabled Terrible Drawing Time and also Affirmation Time. If you want to do either of these things, you can. Dan, thank you. That is just me being the best streamer to ever stream, once again. But anywho, welcome back. It was Quinacridone Purple! It's this one! Yes, I looked through my entire boxes of paint to find it. I love this color so much. It is ridiculous, and it's so pretty. It's one of my favorites. I should use it. I should use it just in and of itself more often, because it is stunning! Anyways, just curious, have you seen Farscape? Says Alpha. I watched all of Farscape. I think when I was a university student years ago. I lived with my family while I was a university student, and in the evenings when I wasn't working, my parents and I would always sit down and watch a TV program after dinner at around, sort of like 7:30. It was nice, a nice little break. And also just a fun little family activity. And we watched through all of Farscape together. So yes, I've seen Farscape. I think it's weird. I did enjoy it though. I did enjoy it. It is a weird show, but I did enjoy it. I mean, I'm a weird individual, so we were surprised. Okay, Terrible Drawing Time. 5,000 channel points to see Dr. Grizzlor from TV's The Pit wearing his signature outfit, doing his signature pose. Oh boy! I know exactly what all these things are. Okay, thank you, Dan. For those not in the know, Terrible Drawing Time is a phenomenon that happens on this stream when I remember to enable it on art streams, whereby for 5,000 channel points, I've got 5 minutes or less to draw a character or concept of your choosing from memory or sight unseen on a terrible drawing canvas. Here we have, this was, hopefully you can tell it's supposed to be Sherma, aka Tinklebeanus, from the game Silk Song. He is hitting his little wooden spoons together and singing his little song. I think he honestly actually does look quite a bit like Sherma from Silk Song. So congratulations me on remembering how to do it. This was, I think someone just wanted something from Studio Ghibli, so I just did No Face and a Soot Sprite at the Totoro bus stop. And it went great. Anyways, Huggy Bear, hello, welcome in. Hello, hello, it's lovely to see you. And this, of course, is the most Canadian man in the world, Wolverine. But now I have to draw Dr. Grizzlor from TV's The Pit, wearing his signature outfit, doing his signature pose. So I'm going to try and keep this as hinged as possible. And obviously this is from memory, and, and I think that I should be able to remember what Dr. Grizzlor from TV's The Pit, which I've absolutely seen, looks like. So I'm going to set myself a timer for 5 minutes, starting now, and we're going to make this happen. Okay, so Dr. Grizzlor, as we know, in his signature outfit, doing his signature pose. Here he is. Let's put him next to the bus stop, because I don't know, why not? Dr. Grizzlor. Okay, so, first of all, as we all know, he does have a nose. That's important. And you know what? If there's one thing that I know about this show is that they're doctors and they look like they're overworked and probably haven't slept in a while. So, he's definitely got that sort of a vibe. But in addition to this, he's also got, I'm going to give him just like one of these sort of mustachios. You know, just kind of like a U-shaped. mustachio. And he is, he's certainly got a face. Clearly recognizable, yes, as Alquil. All four. Hell yeah. Okay. And here he is. Now, he's known for he's got quite big ears, I think. And very little in the area of chin. But definitely big ears. So you can see his other ear hanging out over there. But he's also known for, despite the fact that this isn't standard issue thing that you would wear in like a hospital, but he's always wearing a beret because he thinks it makes him look distinguished. And you know what? Who am I to argue with Dr. Grizzlor here? Doesn't he look absolutely wonderful? Oh, also, obviously he's got some very fluffy sideburns, of course. Of course he's got very fluffy sideburns. We couldn't forget those. Could not forget those thems. And he's got his little neck. And, oh, no, that's not how his arm goes. His signature pose. His signature pose, not his secondary pose. That's his secondary pose, of course. We're doing his signature pose. That's very important to distinguish. So here he is, and of course he will be in his signature outfit, but I'm just going to draw in his signature pose first. So here's his waist, and then obviously his legs just come out like this. There we go. This is absolutely how legs work. Okay, and is he wearing little house slippers? Of course he's wearing little house slippers. That's part of his signature look. He's also obviously going to be wearing his signature high-waisted cargo shorts. So let's just get some big ol' sticky-outy side pockets on these. Okay, how much time do I have left doing this? Okay, I've got a minute. I've got a minute. Ah, geez. And you know what? You know what goes exceedingly well with cargo shorts? I'm asking myself this because I genuinely don't know. What goes with cargo shorts is, of course, he's going to be wearing a fancy little waistcoat and a ruffly cravat, which, you know, incredibly stylish of him. And obviously the striped tube socks. And underneath his waistcoat and cravat, he's obviously just wearing like a 90s style long-sleeved t-shirt. And he's also wearing a t-shirt over his 90s style long-sleeved t-shirt, which he is wearing under his waistcoat with cravat. Huggy Bear says I'd be a bit quiet / lurking. Thank you so much for the lurk, Huggy Bear. I appreciate it. Anyways, I hope that I remembered correctly. Also, like, this is the strength on this man to be able to do a squat like this. Are you kidding me? That is a strong boy. The legs on this man. I am impressed. So here he is in his cargo shorts, tube socks, fuzzy house slippers, t-shirt with a long sleeve t-shirt under it, and like a Regency style waistcoat and cravat, and a beret. This is Dr. Grizzlor from the pit, as you can tell, in his signature outfit, doing his signature pose. Did I remember everything correctly, chat? Forgot the umbrella, but otherwise very good. Please just imagine him shimmying sideways under this umbrella. Thank you, Dan. Dan, I hope you're happy. And to everyone else, I'm sorry. But I did it. Okay. Okay, I think I'm happy with where we ended up with, like, Unnur's body, more or less. Always happy, says Dan. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. That's delightful. That's lovely. That's nice. Good. Good. Okay. Anywho. What was I gonna say? I forget. Oh no! Oh no, I forgot. It's fine. Every day in every way, I am getting increasingly just like grumpy at the things I see that are like. There was an article that was published in The Guardian recently that was like an opinion piece by a writer. I say writer in big quotes there because he was like, every writer uses AI and they're just scared to say it. And they're like, no, we don't. No, we don't. I remember his first name was Steven. I don't remember his last name. He doesn't deserve recognition. He sucks. Yeah, everyone's using it. They're just afraid to say so. I wrote my novel using it, and I'm like, so you didn't write a novel then? So you got the plagiarism robots to predictive text a novel for you. Congratulations. Good job. You stink. You suck. Pigeon says, boo, that guy sucks. He's not a writer, he's a poopy head. Yeah, I agree. It just, I think the thing that this reveals to me, the other thing that brought this back into my mind was the filmmaker Steven Soderbergh has said that he's incorporating like the AI stuff into his forthcoming project, and it's just like, why? Like, why would you do that? Like, again, it's just, I think one of the things that it says to me is that, okay, number one, there are certain personality types who are just, like, uncritical adopters of any new technology. They're like, ooh, shiny, a new thing, I want it, right? I've known people like this who are like, I have to buy, like, my old version of the phone is not good enough anymore. I have to buy the newest model as soon as it comes out. There are lots of people like this. It's just like, new thing, gotta have it, right? Same goes with, sort of like AI tech for some people. It's just like, ooh, new thing, gotta use it. And it's like, I prefer to take a more measured approach to adopting new technologies. I look at a thing and I say, is this going to actually improve my life in any, like, measurable way? Is this going to, does this do something that I already have the ability to do in a way that is better and more enjoyable for me? No, I don't need it. It's like the number of, I watch a lot of like food YouTube. I enjoy a lot of food YouTube. And so I see things like kitchen appliance reviews, kitchen gadget reviews, that kind of thing quite a bit. And a lot of things strike me as like, there are a lot of things where I'm like, okay, I see the utility of this. A lot of things that, like, I see the utility of as, like, a piece of assistive technology if you have a certain disability. Like, things that help with, like, if you have, like, no grip strength and you need to be able to open a jar, having a thing that is designed to open a jar for you, fantastic. Love that. But then there's a lot of stuff where it's just like, there are already things in your kitchen that do this and do it better. This doesn't need to exist. That kind of thing. But, like, likewise, so one of the quotes in this article with Steven Soderbergh, the filmmaker, he's making a documentary about John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Cool. Okay, that if you are a big Beatles enjoyer, that could potentially be interesting. But he's using like the video stealing robots to generate surreal imagery for this documentary, that the only way to produce this surreal imagery is to use, and I'm like, if you are saying the only way to do this is to use it, skill issue, Steven Soderbergh, you know what the skill that you're missing is? Knowing how to hire an artist who can do that for you. Jesus, especially as you're making a documentary about artists who made weird stuff, and you're saying that it can't be done without the I hate it. I hate it so much. What a time to be alive, am I right? Anyways. Anyways. Also, hello, Pigeon. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. But yeah. Dan says, imagine not being able to distinguish between doing a thing and telling someone / something else to do a thing for you. That is a very... not to disparage anyone who works in management, because there are a lot of obviously very intelligent, very capable things who work in management and leadership roles, especially, sort of in like the corporate sphere or whatever, or even the non-corporate sphere. Just generally, there are a lot of people who exist in management and leadership roles who do not know how to distinguish between, I did this, versus I delegated to a team of my staff to do this. Like, they don't know the difference. And I think it's very similar. I think it's very similar here, being like, I did this because I delegated it to the computer. So you didn't actually do it. You told the computer to do it, and the computer came up with some crap, and you were like, wow, I'm dazzled by this because apparently I have no sense of aesthetics or critical thinking. This is the thing that gets it. Sometimes I feel like these people must be taking the piss because they're like, oh, look at what I was able to generate. This is the future of sitcoms. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that's like, it looks kind of like video of 2 or 3 people in a room that looks kind of like the set of Friends, but okay, one person's speaking, but 2 people's mouths are moving, and also that woman just merged into a guitar. Do you not see how this... Do you not notice the horror inherent in this? What is wrong with you? Just look at it. Anyways. Pigeon says, people who use AI need to be honest. They use it because it's cheap and they don't want to pay real humans. I think that's a big part of it as well. For sure. When I see, like, the obvious ChatGPT art style in, like, adverts, I've been seeing it in places where it really isn't necessary as well. There was a local cafe in my city of residence was advertising on Instagram, and I was like, something's wrong with this photo of a full English breakfast. And I looked a little bit closer, and I was like, this is generated. I went to their, like, Google listing, their Google business listing, and looked at, like, reviews that people had left of this place, and they had pretty good reviews. It was like 4.7 out of 5 or something like that. And the photos that people posted of the full English breakfast they got at this cafe looked good. Like, it looked like a delicious full English breakfast. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. I was like, why could you not just take a photo of one of your full English breakfasts? You're advertising with this, like, false imagery that isn't actually what you're going to get if you go there. But the stuff that you make yourself does actually look good. Why would you not just use it? It's just stupid. It's stupid. It's so stupid. You wouldn't even have to pay anything. Literally, just use, like, your, crappy old iPhone with a falling apart phone case. Take a low-resolution photo of one of your full English breakfasts, and that will look better than some overly smooth, weird-looking, why are the beans melting into the hash brown like that? Anyways. Dan says, you couldn't write a surreal song like I'm the Walrus without AI. It can't be done. This is one of the questions that I always ask, that I always ask when I see this kind of stuff, is like, how would you have done this 10 years ago? And are you not able to do that anymore? And why are you not able to do that anymore? How would you have done this 10 years ago? Why aren't you doing that? Like, if Steven Soderbergh had decided to make this John and Yoko documentary 10 years ago, what would he have done to create that surreal imagery? Oh, I don't know. Probably just, like, hired an animator. Because I guarantee you there is someone out there who can do some trippy-ass animation that would be exactly the kind of thing that you actually is not horrible to look at, for one thing. But would get your idea across. And, like, significantly less energy use as well. But don't let's fall down that rabbit hole. I'm sorry I got onto this soapbox to begin with. But anyways, Instantly thought of bosses and CEOs after I hit return. Yeah, the whole sort of like, I did this when in fact like a team of people who you delegated to do something actually did it feels very CEO brain, you know. And I do say CEO brain is like a specific way of braining, because I do think that there is like, it's, you know, I think of like it's like Mr. Beast is CEO brained, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Anyways, original source have an AI slop advert and it's disgusting, says Pigeon. No! Like, why? It's so every time I see someone use it in like, you know, a promotional material or as like a book cover or anything like that, I'm just so disappointed by them. Time to get off my soapbox and go for walkies. Have a nice evening / times and everyone. Have a lovely walkies, Dan, and thank you for hanging out with us. But yeah, there is a I can't remember which railway it is, but one of the railways here in Britain are running an advert that's very obviously, if not, I don't think it's fully generated. Like, I think the actors are real people, but it's got that weirdly sort of, something is off about the way they look. Like, it feels like it's been upscaled. And I'm like, why have you upscaled their faces? Now they look weird and creepy and like they're made out of garbage. Whereas they otherwise would have just looked like people, but then there's like a tiger that appears in the middle of the train. And I'm entirely sure that was just fully generated. And it's just so bad. It's like, why would you do this? I hate it. Anyways, Medusa, thank you very much for the 3 stream steaks. Zoom to you too. Welcome on in. Okay, that's enough of that. I need to figure out how to make the gentlest of off-white. I don't think it's pure white, the interior walls of the train. Like, it is a slightly, not quite magnolia, but it's definitely like an off-white. So how the hell do I make an off-white? I'm using this palette, and I need to figure out how to just drop us ever so slightly off of white. It doesn't want to be beige. It doesn't want to be cream. It wants to just be slightly warmer than white. So I'm going to take this blend of brown, black, and yellow and just water it down until it's virtually invisible, and then I will paint it on. Hope you're having a good day, says Medusa. I'm having a lovely day, thank you. I hope you're having a good day as well. I hope your week has been good so far. I baked banana bread on Tuesday. I'm very pleased about that. It turned out really, really nice, and I'm really happy with it. It was the first time adapting my banana bread recipe for no gluten, which was a little scary, but I think it turned out really well. The texture is lovely. It's not dry. It's not crumbly. It looks like banana bread. It tastes like banana bread. It has all the correctest of vibes. And I'm very pleased. So, yeah. I did film the making of it, though it was very much, I wasn't planning to film this, but I guess I'm filming it, so, in terms of, like, the vibes from the filming of the recipe, but that might end up being a video, because it is an update to the recipe that I published many, many years ago. I don't know if people still care about banana bread, but, yeah, it's delicious, so I am pretty pumped about that. Nice, that's awesome, says Medusa. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it because, as I say, it is, very, very delicious. I was gonna put like one of the handy hold poles here, and I forgot to put, it was there, and then I changed the seat configuration slightly, and I forgot to put it back. Aw, shoot. Banana bread is one of my favorites. That and pumpkin bread, says Medusa. Ooh, I have a pumpkin muffin recipe that I think would translate very, very well to just being pumpkin bread as well. And it is Absolutely incredible. But yes, I'm slowly going through my raft of recipes and adapting them for a gluten-free diet, and it is arduous and difficult, and some adapt more easily than others. And this one, thankfully, yeah, it's good. It slaps. It works. I'm happy. Anyways, I would like this to dry, please. I should probably bring up my reference image of the tren. Because, yeah, we definitely need some of those, like, sticky outy orange poles. I think it was about here. So I'll do that. What else should I do? But yeah, the banana bread was good. I did a little like dusting of pearl sugar on the top of it, and that was really nice as well. So I'm thinking next time I might just take some like whole oats and sprinkle those onto the top. I think that'd be really nice. It's a good recipe. It is a good recipe. That being said, tangent time. Not tangent, just completely changing the subject time. It just reminded me of, on the subject of things that, like, foods that you kind of have to plan your life around because they have specific windows of, like, correct amounts of ripeness. Because obviously you want a slightly riper than you would probably eat it banana to make a good banana bread. It wants to be nice and soft, to get, you know, the right flavor and texture and yada yada yada. So my bananas were not quite there yet, but I was afraid if I left them for like an extra 2 days because I wasn't going to be able to bake bread yesterday. And I didn't know if I'd had it in me to bake bread today. And I'm also busy on Friday, so I was like, well, this is the day I have to do it. But yesterday I bought myself what was marketed by the supermarket as a perfectly ripe avocado. That was indeed on, like, clearance sticker, so it was like, we are going to throw this away if you don't buy it today. Ripe avocado. And I'm like, that is perfect for me to make avocado toast tomorrow. That is today. So today, I put my toast bread into the toaster, and I open up the avocado to get ready to you know, sort of add my seasonings and do all the things that I do to avocado when I make avocado toast. And it was, how shall I say, not good. It was, like, I can handle an avocado that's a little bit firm. That's fine. I can, you know, be extra sort of, like, mash it up real good, right? But this one also felt like it was hard to scoop out. It was hard, but it was also difficult to scoop out of the, like, avocado skin. Normally when I'm making, like, avocado toast, if it is a properly ripe avocado, I take the stone out of the one side, and I can just kind of, like, squeeze the avocado half, and most of the avocado gubbins will just kind of pop out into the bowl, and then I can, you know, sort of chop it or mash it up, right? This would, like, nothing would come out of it. It was hard, and it was also very fibrous. But also the skin of the exterior was weirdly, like, hard and a little crusty, and I was like, it just, like, it looks perfectly green, but I feel like this is going to be a horrible, like, if it's, like, fibrous, I feel like this is not going to be a pleasant textural experience for me in terms of, like, the eating, so I ended up, it was just, there was something off and weird about it, and I did not want to eat it, so I ended up throwing it out, and I felt really bad about that. But avocados, I feel like, are another one of those foods that, like, you kind of end up planning your life around them in terms of, like, they have a window of acceptable ripeness, depending on what you want to do with them, because you might want a slightly less ripe avocado if you're planning to, like, serve it sliced in some capacity, versus if you want to serve it, like, you know, mashed or, like, pureed. You probably want something that's a little riper, so it's easier to smush down into a puree. I'm so sorry, I've got hiccups. Oh no. Oh, jeez. Anyways, so yeah, that was very sad. So I ended up having almond butter toast instead, and it was delicious, but I was really looking forward to avocado toast. I I don't know what the standard avocado toast recipe is, or if there is one, but what I like to do is I like to take an avocado, um, and I like to mash it up with garlic powder, lemon juice, and a good few sort of like hits of some kind of tasty hot sauce. Like I've got Cholula at the moment. I like it. I like a Cholula. There used to be a green Cholula that you could get that I really liked, and then they stopped selling it here. And also, ooh, the chili garlic Cholula was really good as well. And then again, they don't sell it here anymore. I miss you, chili garlic Cholula. You were so good. But classic Cholula is fine. So that's what I normally use. Yes. So that made me sad that I didn't get to have that today because I haven't had avocado toast in a bit. I don't have it very often, despite the fact that I also can't afford a house. I don't actually have avocado toast that often. Yeah, I was a little sad that my avocado was genuinely, it was no good. It was very no good, and that did me a little sadness. But so it goes, I suppose. Anyways, I'm pretty sure the gaps between the seat maquette is also this kind of like off-whitey color, so I'm also gonna paint in these little gappies with the very same. Okay. Now what else can I paint while I'm impatiently waiting for this to dry? I guess I can paint sort of the area under the seat, which I think is actually sort of gray. I think it's just an extension of the floor, so that's fine. But yeah, I was very sad about my avocado, as you do. What am I having for dinner tonight? Tonight for dinner, I'm having a kid's menu. I'm making fish fingers and little taters and some fresh asparagus because it is asparagus season, and when it's asparagus season, you eat all the asparagus you can. Because if you are me, you very much value asparagus season, because I don't eat out of season asparagus. I don't want to be buying buying asparagus from I don't want to be buying asparagus that is like oh heck. Sorry. I don't want to be buying Jesus Murphy. I don't want to be buying asparagus that is coming from super, super far away when it grows like natively here. That just feels bad. But also it's a very frustrating thing for me because asparagus is growing here right now. They've had early British asparagus for weeks, maybe even a month now, and they're still calling it early British asparagus, and it is stupid expensive. It's like dumb expensive. It's so silly expensive for the early British asparagus, and all of the other like asparagus, because they've got different kinds of, they have just asparagus, and then they've got asparagus tips, and then they've got fine asparagus. And all of the asparagus and asparagus tips and fine asparagus are coming from like Mexico and Peru, which is super far away. And I would really rather, I try really hard to buy produce if it grows here in the UK or nearby parts of Europe. I will choose to purchase it when it is available from the UK or nearby parts of Europe, because I feel much better buying things that, if I can avoid it, don't travel great distances to get to me. Because trucking things in from great distances is, not great environmentally. I'd rather buy things that are more local if I can. That's not always a choice that you can make. But when I can make that choice, I figure, I'm going to do it. But it really rankles me that they're like, we're going to make you spend more money to buy things that were grown much closer to you. it rankles me that I have to make the financial decision to spend really more money than I'm comfortable spending on this vegetable, in order to have it, like, not being, carried in from another continent. It feels icky. It feels really icky. I hate that, that you have to make these choices. I hate that sometimes if you don't have, like, the financial wherewithal to just buy the most ethical foods of all time, that you have to make compromises in that way. You shouldn't have to. You just shouldn't have to make crappy choices to buy, like, crappier for, the planet or sustainable or whatever, like, worse foods that are worse for everybody because that's all you can afford. We should all just be able to get food that is the most responsible choice possible. Anyways. That's how I feel about it. It's like I was ordering groceries online a few weeks ago, and we were getting tinned tuna. And a major brand that sells tuna in this country, you could get a 4-pack of tuna tins, packed in water, or a different 4-pack of tuna tins packed in water, same size, same amounts. One was more expensive than the other one by £1. Why? Because that one was sustainably sourced tuna and the cheaper one was not. That feels bad. That feels bad that you have to pay extra to care about things, It's just, ew! Ew! I hate it. It's gross. It makes me I'm in a tizzy. I'm in a tizzy, chat. I'm gonna try and work myself back out of the tizzy now. I'm using some neutral tint because this is mostly in shadow, but also the floor is gray. I am using my Frog and Toad palette for this piece because it feels like it feels like with, like, Goblin green and also the colors of the orangey greeny browniness of the London Overground feels like it deserves a Frog and Toad palette. It's the Goblin. It's the Goblin. It's a Goblin on the Goblin. Like, you get it, I hope. So I'm just gonna kind of put some shading / floor down here real quick before we descend into the adverts again. I apologize if you have to see ads. You know the deal. You get it. You ain't gonna miss anything. I will be away on a little breaky-do. And then when I return, hopefully I'll have other interesting things to talk about that aren't me ranting about things that are bothersome. But yes. I am... Oh, there's a thing worth raising, potentially. I am going to be participating in Hollow Knight Art Month next month, but because I'm a silly creature, I am hoping to do all of the prompt days for Hollow Knight Art Month. But I'm also away for half the month again. So I'm gonna end up having to kind of front load, like, 2 weeks of the artworks and do them ahead of time. So I'm gonna be employing some speedrun strats. I say this every year with these, like, month-long art challenges that I am going to attempt as best as I can to do things that are relatively quick and sketchy to produce so that I'm not overburdening myself with, like, fully rendered pieces every day for a month, and then I end up going a little bit, crazy apeshit on the details anyway, so So, I don't know. If you see me producing, like, fully rendered pieces with super detailed backgrounds and stuff again this year, feel free to bop me on the nose with a rolled up newspaper and tell me I ain't got time for that. I would appreciate that. Thank you. Anyways, exciting since Medusa. I am excited. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to doing it. I believe the prompt list is going to be dropping fairly shortly, so keep an eye out for that. I will try and boost it for anyone interested. If you want to take part as well. It is run by friend of the channel, Kirsty, who's a very, very good egg, and is also enjoys Hollow Knight and Silksong a normal amount. So I think it's gonna be a fun time. I'm a little nervous. The last time I attempted to do a 31-day art challenge, I ended up deciding not to do it at all, and I ended up doing like 2 days, and that felt fine. So hopefully I'll be able to stick to it. That might be a good way of kicking me out of my art block as well, I hope. So, if I'm not out of it by then. I hope I'll be out of it by then. Oh, geez. Anyways, it's time for ads, so I'm going to leave you on the BRB screen for a few minutes. I'm sorry if you have to see ads, but I will be back very shortly. So, take care, have a drink, have a stretch, all that jazz, and I'll see you very shortly. BRB. Hello, friends. I return with news, because I made the mistake of opening my phone and looking at blue sky while we were on a little break. And wouldn't you know it, this isn't relevant to me, but it is relevant to my personal interest in as much as I'm a person who used to work in a library and cares about reading. So it is of interest to me, but also it's one of those grimly predictable news items that you're like, well, I am unsurprised. Disappointed, but unsurprised. Now, I've never actually owned an e-reader device for reading ebooks. If I want to read a book, I read a physical book with paper, or if it's not a physical book on paper, I probably have like a PDF that I just read on my phone or my computer or a tablet, or I just read fan fictions from AO3 on my phone. You know, normal stuff. Anyways, but lots of people read ebooks on e-readers, and that is a wonderful piece of tech that exists. I'm glad it exists. If it gets more people reading, then I'm happy for that. However, apparently, Amazon, our benevolent overlords, I don't know if I should be talking about this here. I will report the news that Amazon have declared that if you own a Kindle e-reader that is older than 2013, which is the year I moved to the United Kingdom. So we're coming up on 13 years I've lived here. Can you believe, to learn? If you own an Amazon e-reader, Kindle reader that is that was produced earlier than 2013, you will soon no longer be able to purchase or like receive books on it. Let me just get this. I want to get this correct. I want to report this correctly. You will not be able to buy or download new books if you, as of next month, if you own a Kindle that is older than 13, which sucks and is bad. You know, it's just another one of these cases of taking something and making it deliberately less good. You know, like, I appreciate the utility of an e-reader in as much as it has functionalities that, like, a physical book doesn't necessarily have. It certainly is a space-saving device compared to having the number of books that you can contain on an e-reader in that small an amount of physical space compared to the amount of books that, you know, like physical paper books that you would have, and the amount of space that takes up is a pretty staggering difference. But with that being said, books, like a physical paper book, never reaches a point in its lifetime where it just is like, you open the page, you know, like you open the cover and the pages are blank now. That is not something that happens with physical books. Because, you know, it's like, oh, well, this book is over 12 years old, so you can no longer, no, that's not a thing that happens. You know, like books do experience wear and tear as a piece of physical media, and you can mend them. There are people whose entire jobs are just repairing books. I know this because I used to work in a library, and we had a librarian whose entire job was just repairing old books that had sustained some wear and some tear. She had a little office in the basement, and we almost never saw her. She was great. It was like, I can see this being a very appealing job for a certain type of person. You have a little office in the basement, and you basically never have to interact with anybody. You just get to sit in your quiet little office repairing books. Why isn't that my job? No, I do that thing a lot where I'm just like, oh, that sounds like a really good job. I'd love doing that job. And it's like, no, you do that job for like 2 weeks and then be like, I miss being able to do other stuff, and you'd get grumpy about it. My moderator slash spouse has come home, so I'm gonna go say hello to him. I'll be back in just a second. Darling! My throat is sore and I miss you. Get into rest mode. Put on your pajam jams. We'll have a quiet night. Hello, everybody. I'm back. I'm probably not going to go on too much longer this evening, because I'm feeling it today. I am tired. I don't know. I feel like, despite the fact that, like, my personal vibes feel incredibly sort of, like, tepid and sleepy at the moment, I feel like I've been fairly energy-full for most of this stream, and I feel like I'm coming to the end of my ability to enact that. So I think I might be finding myself in a situation where we are coming to the end of the stream fairly soon. I hope that's okay. I feel like it's one of those things where I feel like we just had a BRB break, but actually the BRB break was like 15 minutes ago, so it's fine. Time to watch the news and wrap up my day. Thanks for the stream, says Alquill. I hope you have a lovely time. I hope that the news is good and that you enjoy your winding down time. Okay, I've drawn in the orange pole that sits over there. Yay! I was like, something's missing, and then I realized we need those the handy-holdy poles. So I have placed a handy-holdy pole over there. So that is a good. And I shall paint it in now. You shall. Now, I think this orange is a little too brownish, so I'm going to add a little bit of red into it to kind of brighten it back up. But I think it wants to be... This is a very autumnal palette to be using in the spring, but, like, have you seen the color palette of the London Overground? If you haven't seen the color palette of the London Overground, let me just pull it up on screen. Because I feel like it's a very autumnal palette, generally. It's like... It's like a palette of, like, I don't know, carrots. It's a very carrot-y palette. Is that a weird, that feels like a weird thing to say, but I'm right, so, you know. Okay, this picture is weirdly small, but I think you get the idea. So let me, I'm sorry it's just kind of in the corner. But I think you get the idea. There's a lot of orange happening here, and then if you look at the patterns on the seats, it's like orange and brown and green, and very kind of in that range. That's very like warm toned, very earth toned. It's a vibe. I really like the vibe of it color wise. I think it's very cool, but it is very much in that kind of a ballpark. But my orange that I have here is a little bit too... It's quite desaturated. And I think it would actually benefit from a little red adding to it to just kind of make it a deeper, more vibrant of an orange. Like this looks like a reasonably vibrant orange to me. It's showing up a little bit less so on stream. It's got a little bit more depth to it in real life, but it is still... definitely like a desaturated kind of brownish orange. So I added a little bit of red to it, which I think has kind of brought it back into... And this is still a little bit desaturated for a London Overground, but that's kind of the vibe I'm going for this piece. I would like it to have some kind of a cohesive warm, cozy feel in terms of the color palette that we're using here. So hopefully that'll be a good. This feels like a weird place. I think I'm actually going to paint this in and then stop for the day, which feels like a really weird place to pause, but here we are. I think that's fine. I don't know how accurate I'm going to be able to get when it comes to painting in the seat maquette, because the detailing is very lil. It's a very small, busy pattern. I will attempt to do it justice, but I think it's going to be very difficult to do at this scale, but I will try. I will try. And I think there's just kind of going to be sort of like a blur of scenery going past behind Una here, so I think that'll be fine. But I also obviously will want Una to stand out a little bit as like the visible person in this piece, so I will try and make them give them a little bit of boldness to their look. Their general kind of aesthetic is, I mean, they've got a cool, leather biker vest, and then little knee breeches, and they've just got their little sort of like buckle shoes on. They used to just wear like a regular sort of shirt with like an apron, but they found a cool leather biker vest because I found a cool leather biker vest in Hero Forge. And I was like, I want them to wear a cool little leather biker vest. But usually when they're working, they're wearing like long sleeves and an apron and that kind of thing for safety, because they are a blacksmith. They make knives by trade, so they have a collection of cool knives. Because they're a cool little guy. Anyways, I think I'm gonna raid out now. I know it's a little bit early, but it's not that early. It's fairly normal, but I am a tired bear. And I think I need to go decompress for a bit, so I'm going to send you in the direction of somebody cool. Hopefully someone we haven't seen too recently, who we like. I'm going to make sure that you are in good hands if I can. So let me see. Let me just make sure that this person isn't just about to finish, because that would be real embarrassing. And I would like to not embarrass myself, but, anything's possible. It doesn't look like this. Oh man, they're doing cool stuff. Okay, let's go say hi to Casey, because why not? And thank you again for hanging out with me today. It's been very, very fun. Thank you for chilling with yours truly, and all that jazz. And I'm gonna pop some ananas popping in. Our moral support, emotional support, Lego pineapple who holds my paintbrushes. Feel free to grab the raid message. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the emotes. If you don't have the emotes, you can just say a generic raid message or append any cool emotes that you do have. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will be back tomorrow morning playing some Silk Song. And until then, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care, everyone. Thank you for watching. Good night and good luck.